So I guess I'll just jump right into it then. And I will warn everybody right now, this story reeks of early days MLS 1.0, and you are going to love it. I want to give a big shout out to our friends at Once a Metro for providing details for this story, because I seem to forget to, call them out every time I do this. It's Once a Metro and it's Metro Fanatic, are both fantastic people. But this one comes from Once a Metro. It's July 4th weekend, 2003. The New York, New Jersey Metro Stars were taking on arch rivals DC United away at RFK Stadium. It just so happens that this game happened 3 days after our previous story, the Guevara towel incident. So in true fashion, the week just has to continue to be crazy. We can't just have one thing happen and then it go back to normal. It has to go crazy. In 2003, as we know, the use of golden goal overtime was employed to decide a winner. RIP 35-yard shootouts, we hardly knew thee. Bring them back for MLS 5.0 and the world will love it. The league for this season had added a new rule in which a fourth sub could be employed for goalkeepers and goalkeepers only in case they were injured during the extra time period. Now, everybody listening to this is probably listening to the same thing and thinking, that doesn't make any sense. Field players can get hurt in extra time too. Why didn't the sub just go all the way across to all players? And to that I say, you're right. This is 2003 MLS. Nothing made sense. Nothing ever made sense, and it's wonderful. So love it. What MLS didn't account for was Bob Bradley's big, bald, brilliant head outsmarting their entire rule. And that's what happened in 2003. Tim Howard started the match in goal, allowed a goal to Marco Echeverri in the 10th minute. Red Bull legend Jaime Moreno. That's a throwback to another episode you guys should go listen to. And Ricardo Clark, former Houston legend, added 2 goals in quick succession that gave the Metro 2-1 lead. Kenny Arena, yes, son of that Bruce Arena, got himself sent off in the 35th minute for 2 yellow cards in 5 minutes. And again, people are listening are thinking the same thing I am. There is nothing that a person with the last name Arena has done worse in the scope of American soccer than get these 2 yellow cards in 5 minutes. Not one. But we don't talk about 2018. As long as we forget about 2018, that is the worst thing somebody with the last name Arena has ever done. After this, Red Bull were down to 10 men for 55 minutes. And Dima Kovalenko equalizes just before halftime. Metro bunkered in and held strong on their way to a 2-2 scoreline at the end of regulation, meaning we were headed for golden goal overtime. 2 5-minute overtime periods, not 10, 5. Sitting on the bench for the Metro was 16-year-old Eddie Gaven. As Bob Bradley looks down his bench, he thinks, this guy's young enough to not know what's happening. Let me see if I can get away with this. He calls him down at the end of normal time. And officially, I'll put it in this way, Bob Bradley put Mark Lisi in goal. Tim Howard ended up playing as a central midfielder on the roster. He subbed Eddie Gaven in for Mark Lisi in goal. Tim Howard standing at center midfield with referees surrounding him, confused out of his mind, trying to figure out what exactly was happening. Everybody was so confused, strictly first and foremost, on the jersey situation. As you can imagine, this is the first for players, coaches, referees, officials, anybody you can guess. Nobody knew what the rules were. Originally, Eddie Gaven had put on Tim Howard's second goalkeeper kit, but it was black, as was DC United's kit, so they told him he had to change. In goes Eddie Gaven to the New York Metro goal with a gray t-shirt, looking like a U12 kid who volunteered when the normal goalkeeper didn't show up. Tim Howard, on the other hand, put a kit with no name on, just a regular training kit, on top of his goalkeeper jersey, looking like a U12 kid who got put into the game because they were beating up on a really bad team and he just wanted to get a couple of minutes up at forward. It gets better because he never actually stepped onto the field. Bob Bradley stood next to him at halfway off the field as the game kicked off for extra time, meaning that as the game kicked off, Metro were down 9 men to 11 in extra time. DC plays the ball in. They take one bad touch, and about all nine Metro players ran to the ball and kicked it as far into the stands as they could to get it out of bounds. This allowed Howard to throw off the nameless kit to the side, jog back into the goal, grab the gloves from Eddie Gaven, and let Gaven get back onto the field. He was still wearing his gray t-shirt, and he picked up the nameless kit that Tim Howard had put on. He starts to put it on his own body, and then I guess somebody had to remind him, hey, Gaven, you're actually a field player. We have a jersey for you. Here you go. He grabbed his own jersey, put it on, and got back into the field of play. And you must be thinking, this is where it ends, right? And I laugh at you, Connor, because this is not where it ends. After the first half of extra time, it went 5 minutes and nothing happened. So they go to the second half, but Metro feeling energized. Gavin's up top. He's running down long balls. He's chasing. They got a little bit of kick in their step. They get to the 98th minute of 100 total minutes in this game. And Tim Howard comes up massive, making a 1v1 save on a DC attacker, which caused a rebound that started a counterattack. The ball is launched up the sideline to youthful Eddie Gaven, who gets on the end of it. He gets around his man and is running in on goal. He sees the second best goalkeeper in MLS history, Nick Raimondo, cheating off his front post, expecting a cross. Instead of putting the ball across, Gaven chips the goalkeeper on the near side and wins the game for 10-man Metro against their arch rivals in their own stadium. As you can imagine, fans, coaches, and DC related people alike all were furious. Rob Stone, Ty Keogh, and Eric Winalda were all on the call for this game. And Rob Stone made no mistake in sharing his thoughts. He's quoted as saying, I think this is cheating, just cheating. But it's in there. What they did was make a temporary goalkeeping substitution, put Howard into the middle of the field as a field player. So at least they will have Eddie Gaven play a minute in net, so when the ball is cleared, they can switch back. Is he wrong? I don't think so. Did he ask? Did we ask? I didn't. Metro beat their rivals, and that's all that mattered. Some may say this is karma for giving Jaime Moreno a full year to ruin our franchise. I don't know. That's just me. So when your Euro snob friends are all oohing and ahhing over their precious super teams winning trebles in England, you can always remind them that they've never seen their team beat their rivals with 10 men while a 16-year-old midfielder played in goal for a minute, switched out with the current goalkeeper, and scored the winner in golden goal stoppage time. Long live Bob Bradley's brilliant bald head.
Let's be honest. The most outrageous thing from that entire story was Jaime Moreno actually scoring for Red Bull.
One of 2 goals, and it was to beat DC United. We talked about that in our last episode.
I know. After everything you talked about with him at Red Bull, that's the most surprising part to me. I didn't even know he would step on the field for them or was allowed to.
I will tell you that the fourth substitution rule did not last much longer after this game. Yeah, MLS quickly revived revised. Thank you. That's the word. Revised this rule, and I believe they just straight up removed it and said no more extra subs. So Bob Bradley and the New Jersey Metro Stars are literally responsible for rule changes. Some may think that David Beckham's arrival in the DP rule is the most significant thing to happen to MLS in terms of rule changes, but it was actually Bob Bradley and Eddie Gaven.